What is up, guys? Today we are going to be talking about the best Game Week 4 wildcard team you can possibly make in FPL. The reason this is the best possible wildcard you can make is because I came up with it, guys. It is the best team you can possibly make in Game Week 4. So let's get right into it. Two things before we start. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the season. Please help me achieve that goal. Number two is I wouldn't actually recommend using a wildcard at this stage in the game, but the chances are if you're clicking on this video, you've already clicked the wildcard button and there's no turning back, or maybe your team is just that bad it desperately needs a wildcard for it. So yeah, first off with the goalkeeper, we're going to be choosing Flecken. Now guys, I know what some of you are thinking. Why would you choose Flecken as your goalkeeper when he's playing away to Man City? And guys, I'm going to save you some FPL points for years to come with this simple piece of advice. Never choose a goalkeeper based on fixtures. Guys, a goalkeeper is going to be there for the tough games and the easy games. You're better off picking a goalkeeper which has two things, okay? Number one is going to get save points regardless of the fixture. Number two, they're going to have some sort of clean sheet potential throughout the season. Because your relegation teams, they're always going to be getting save points, but they're going to be conceding so many goals, the save points don't matter. Whereas with Flecken, the lowest points he'll ever get in an FPL game is 3, and when he does get a clean sheet, he's going to be looking at a bare minimum of 8 points, not like 5 or 6 like most, higher priced goalkeepers. I do believe goalkeepers like Flecken and Dean Henderson are going to score the same as Raya come toward the end of the season. So guys, do not miss out on your opportunity to get Flecken or Henderson in your team to set you up for the next 20 to 30 game weeks. And you know what? Before we get into the defense, the rest of the defense, let's talk about the fact it's a Haaland and Salah draft, guys. I'm not beating around the bush. I do believe the best team you can make contains Haaland and Salah. Now, we could talk for ages about whether Haaland is worth 15.2 million or not, but it ultimately all depends upon if the budget players you're picking around Haaland and Salah can actually be worth it and hold their own against the mid-price midfielders and attackers around 7.5 to 8 to 9 mil. Because when you've got Haaland and Salah, you don't have that luxury of 9, 10 mil players in your team. You're going to have to look at players worth 5 mil, 6 mil, maybe 7 mil, maybe 7.5 if you're lucky. And I do believe only 3 game weeks into the season, I have found a few players under 6.5 mil, which are going to be completely worth it and hold their own against other mid to higher priced attackers. So yeah, that's enough on Haaland and Salah for now. We'll talk about them a bit more later. Right now, let's get into that defense. Now, first up, we've got Trent in there, guys. Trent has got the most expected assists in the game and also the most expected clean sheets. He may be 7 mil, but with that amazing expected data, the amazing form, and the fixtures coming up ahead being really good, you can't miss out on Trent. And if it turns out Trent is a bad choice, you can sell him for any defender in the game. You're not priced out of any other options. We also have Rico Lewis playing for Man City, who has played all 90 minutes so far this season at only 4.7 mil, playing in that Man City defence. Absolute bargain. Now, guys, I know there's going to be some pep roulette, some rotation here and there, but right now, Rico Lewis is looking locked in for only 4.7 mil. Definitely worth the risk coming into your teams. Next up, finishing that defence, starting 11, is Lewis Dunk. Guys, Lewis Dunk playing Ipswich at home and Forest at home in the next 2 game weeks. Looks like it could be 2 guaranteed clean sheets. And we cannot forget the Lewis Dunk goal threat with his headers. He's always going to score a few headers each season. And if you catch him at the right time, it's an extra 6 with bonus points, an extra 9 points. On the bench, he rotates nicely with Mykolenko. And I know Mykolenko's not been great at the moment. He's pretty much been dead weight. Everton have a great fixture run after this Aston Villa game, so I think it's worth keeping Mykolenko in the team for now. And then you got Johnson, 4 mil on the bench. Yeah, just any cheap defender, guys, that plays. Johnson is the best one in my opinion. So yeah, guys, that's the defence. Not spent too much on it, aside from Trent. Everyone else is quite cheap, below 5 mil, that can rotate with each other. It's very nice in my opinion. I quite like it. I would have an Arsenal defender in this team if they didn't have so many injuries right now. So we're going to stay away from the Arsenal defence for the time being. But you can easily switch Trent to a Saliba or Gabriel or maybe even Ben White when the Liverpool fixtures get quite tough or when the Arsenal fixtures get quite good in around game week 6, I believe, after they play away to Tottenham and Man City. Anyway, my friends, let's look at the midfield. We've got some great budget players here. We've obviously got Salah in there already. And next to him, we've got Luis Diaz, the most expensive attacker aside from Haaland and Salah in this team. Guys, Luis Diaz has the most expected goal involvements of any player in the game, except for Haaland and Salah. Is very high on the expected goals and the expected assists, and he's living up to that data as well. He has not blanked yet, and his scores have been very high. He is the third highest scoring player in the game for only 7.6 mil. A great bargain in my opinion, someone you don't want to be missing out on. Obviously, there is a risk having triple Liverpool. If Liverpool have a bad game, then you've got 3 assets who aren't really going to do that well, which kind of means you're going to have a bad week because you've invested a lot of money in Liverpool. But Liverpool look to be really good, and like I said with Trent, they got a lot of good fixtures. So yeah, completely fine with this Liverpool triple up for now. Next to these two on the pitch, we've got Morgan Rogers at 5.1 mil and Eze at 6.9 mil. Eze's about to go on a great fixture run just after scoring 10 points against Chelsea. He looked to be a bit of a stinker after the first 2 game weeks, but he's turned it around with a nice goal from the edge of the box, and I think his form is going to continue. His predicted points are actually higher than the likes of Palmer and Son, who are costing 10 mil, which is quite insane. The point predictions obviously aren't, exactly what's going to happen, but it's a good indication as to the fact Eze is really good value at 6.9 mil. I can't believe so many people sold him just before he bagged a 10-pointer. Morgan Rogers, guys, hasn't done anything yet, but he's starting for Aston Villa. He's 5.1 mil, and he is going to free up loads of money in your FPL teams, being only 0.6 more than the cheapest possible midfielder. So yeah, the expected data for Rogers, while it isn't good, and the actual output of points isn't good, Aston Villa themselves have just been a bit dodgy. They've not been great, and they've had a couple hard games, playing away to West Ham and home to Arsenal in the first couple of weeks. Now it is their time to shine. Morgan Rogers is kind of like an attacking midfielder, sort of a left winger, and he did score a penalty on international duty, so that means he could be on penalties for Aston Villa. We don't know that yet for sure, but if he is, that is game-breaking news. So yeah, Rogers in the team. You could argue to, you could play Semenyo ahead of Rogers because Semenyo is on the bench and Semenyo has currently not blanked this season. It's kind of a coin toss really, a very tough choice to make, but Morgan Rogers has the better fixture, so I've got him in the starting 11 for now, but you could pick either one. That is the midfield done now, guys. Looking at the final part of the team, the front 3, obviously we know Haaland is there. He's averaging 13.7 points a game right now. If he keeps this up, he is going to end on 500 points. Same goes for Salah. Obviously, neither of them are going to end up near 500 points, but they're on really good form and they've got really good data, so we can't ignore it. Along with Haaland, we've got Nicholas Jackson, who was thought to be the new Timo Werner, but he's got decent expected data so far this season, and he's looking to be quite good, surprisingly. Chelsea have some good fixtures, and there's not many other good Chelsea attackers in the game, to be honest. I mean, Palmer's good, but he is also 10.5 mil, 10.6 mil. I'm not sure what his price is, guys, to be honest. But yeah, he's very expensive. Nicholas Jackson here being a few mil cheaper, looking to be nailed starting in that Chelsea team. I'll be very happy with Nicholas Jackson in my team. Unfortunately, I'm not on Wildcard, so I can't get him in my team. But yeah, guys, very good option with some very good fixtures coming up. And not many people own him. He could be a pretty good differential for your team, guys. And the final player is João Pedro, playing home to Ipswich, then playing home to Forest. The next few fixtures are looking really good, and he is only 5.7 mil. Now, there is a lot of debate between him and Welbeck. I do think João Pedro is a lot more reliable because he's on penalties, and Welbeck could be quite a temporary starter, guys. There's many other players who could play striker, whereas with João Pedro, he can play attacking mid, left wing, right wing, and striker. He can play in all 4 of those attacking positions, which makes him a lot more reliable than Danny Welbeck. So I'm going with João Pedro in this team. There is a bit of worry around João Pedro coming back from international duty, then playing Ipswich straight after. But João Pedro has just under 3 full days to recover and rest and get used to, being in England or whatever. So yeah, I do think a lot of this, fear around owning João Pedro is kind of, false. It's not real. He's probably going to start. And if you find out that he's not going to start, you can just put Semenyo in ahead of him. Because like I said, there's a lot of good rotation in this team. You can play anyone except Johnson. And even then, You know, Johnson's already got an assist this season. Even he's a good option. But yeah, guys, that is the team. Let me know what you think of it. I personally think this is going to set you up for the next few game weeks without having to make a single transfer, which is really valuable because you could save up to, you know, 3 or 4 free transfers and basically use a mini wildcard later down the line to help you keep up with the people that are actually going to save their wildcard. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this team. Let me know what you would do differently. And yeah, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Once again, please subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.